And to culture wars, this is a bit bizarre. Rita Ora is a British pop singer who's now been outed. A social media scandal claims in the Daily Mail that she's been blackfishing, which apparently means being accused of pretending to be black, of cultural appropriation, as Twitter users apparently discover she is not black at all. And it started with a tweet that's now got more than 110,000 likes. Finding out Rita Ora isn't black at all and both of her parents are white Albanians, the girl's been blackfishing. Well, in fact, Rita Ora has never said she's anything but the daughter of an Albanian couple, even if she has worn African-style braids. And apparently, that's the cultural appropriation. That's the great sin. Joining me is Rowan Dean, author, columnist, editor of The Spectator Australian, presenter of Outsiders, on every Sunday on Sky at 9 a.m. I never miss it, nor should you. Rowan Dean, how bizarre, a pop star accused of fooling people because people are stupid enough to believe that your hairstyle dictates your race. It's such a sad indictment of the general brainlessness we're now surrounded with.
Absolutely, Andrew, and not a surprise at all, because the pop music, rock music has delighted always in artists pretending to be someone who they are not. And if you like, what Rita Ora or there are others like Ariana Grande last year have done is a reverse Michael Jackson. They start off quite black. He started off black at the beginning of his career and was whiter than you or I by the end of it. They've just done it the other way around. Ariana Grande, you can see in each album, each video clip gets blacker and blacker. Presumably, they are feeling the love or feeling the soul, and you know, of course, it's entirely creative. It would have nothing to do whatsoever with trying to look for that black audience, which is probably far more lucrative than the Albanian rock star audience, for example. But anyway, it's you know, if you go right back to Mick Jagger, people used to say, oh, he must be part black. The way he dances, the way he sings is so brilliant. People who Elvis Presley, another great example. Rock music, pop music has always thrived when it has culturally appropriated, particularly from black music, because black music is so good, but Paul Simon culturally appropriated from all sorts of different musics. Latin music has been...
Black Mambo's album was fantastic.
Absolutely. And from Latin musicians and so on. And of course, this is where identity politics falls in a heap, because creativity is always about borrowing from other sources. That is what creativity is. And so
always has been.
Yeah, identity politics does not work if you say you can't borrow from that. Otherwise,
well,
who's going to buy an Albanian pop song?
Identity politics. You mentioned those dread words, identity politics. I'll give you a more serious example. In Britain, a policeman, Harry Miller, was told by police that he'd committed a hate incident for privately posting messages on social media that offended transgender people. And one of the messages was a poem. I was assigned mammal at birth, but my orientation is fish. Don't misspecies me. And a judge said, well, look, yeah, being warned about things like that, well, the police had overreacted. They were like the Gestapo or the Stasi, attacking free speech, quite intimidating. But when the editor of a magazine for law students wrote up that judgment, the publisher, who also, by the way, publishes J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, sent his report to a transgender activist for comment and then told the author, sorry, most of your article can't be published and the rest is too biased, it needs rewording. Your response?
Well, this is absolutely disgusting. I actually spoke to Harry earlier today, Andrew. He's been on Outsiders a couple of times, Harry Miller. He was out in Australia and he spent a year or nearly 2 years in absolute purgatory because the police raided his home, he had to lose his job. All of this because he had liked a limerick that was about transgender people. He lost so much, humiliated in front of his family and friends and work colleagues. A dreadful, dreadful story. Because he had the wherewithal and the absolute determination, he took this thing all the way to the High Court in Britain and won. It was a landmark case where the judge said that the police, the thought police that we often talk about on this segment in the show, the thought police in Britain had behaved like the Gestapo or the Stasi in the way they had intimidated him and actually accused him of a thought crime, actually said, we are checking your thinking. So an absolute landmark case. So now what happens, you get some bozos who are writing up the case. Oh, sorry, not the bozo. The guy who wrote up the case did a great job. The bozos were those who then said, oh, we can't publish this. And I think the clue might be where you mentioned J.K. Rowling. They are so intimidated, and this is how cancel culture works, they're so intimidated by what's happened to J.K. Rowling that even though this was just literally writing up the legal case, they called in some transgender mob called Mermaids and said, oh, please, please check this, just check that we've done all the right things. And the Mermaids crowd rewrote what is a legal case. So they're literally putting themselves above the law. Andrew,
it didn't happen. You see, it didn't happen.
If this is allowed to carry on, this is 2 + 2 = 5. This is a group, a hardcore left-wing transgender group saying, no, 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 what the judge said, he didn't actually say. That is not the law. We're reinterpreting our law. This is really dangerous stuff, Andrew.
Oh, it is. I mean, we laugh about it, but it is so dangerous. I mean, this is exactly 1984. I mean, this is people rewriting history so that a judgment they didn't like didn't actually happen.
Exactly.
And this then is for a publication to law students. I mean, it's just, honestly, I just wonder what the hell is going on, Rowan, around us. Rowan, I don't know, I'm just wondering how I feel about this. This mess in Victoria, right? A top public health official is being axed. He was in part of the quarantine hotel arrangement, something or other, and he was allegedly selling booze for profit to guests at 2 of these hotels. He was claiming, oh, I'm alcohol dependent, you know, otherwise I wouldn't get it. So he was selling it and getting money, allegedly, getting a profit. Is this really another scandal? Because I kind of think in Stalinist Victoria, the profit motive still exists.
Well, exactly. The scandal is that he was out making a private enterprise, you know, trying to make a buck in Victoria. My goodness, forget it. On your excellent show yesterday, Andrew, you showed the alternative, which is the bureaucrats from some department or other who were responsible for supposedly running the quarantine hotels, who were patting themselves on the back and cheering themselves all along because they'd done the right identity politics thing and driven out and bought dates because it was the end of Ramadan or something. So they'd done this. This is a good thing, apparently, in Victoria, that you waste the taxpayers' money on buying dates, which aren't cheap, by the way, for the end of Ramadan, cases of them to hand around. But the bloke who thinks, you know what, the people in quarantine want to get some booze, but the grog is too expensive in the hotel. So rather than them going out, I'll bring them in some booze and I might make a few quid along the way. He's the baddie, probably, as you said, because the profit motive, that's not a good thing in Danistan, unfortunately. But
so, Rowan, when you come and visit me at Christmas, OK, and you've got to set quarantine, you're in one of our hotels, right? Knock, knock, knock. Rowan Dean, it's a health department here. I have either got free dates or you can buy booze from me. Which one of the offer are you going to take?
I'll leave that to you and your viewers to guess, Andrew, but I don't think it'll be the dates. Ramadan or not.
I can't get this. So, look, yeah, so happy vendor, the bloke made a profit, he's happy.
Yeah.
The people buying the booze are presumably happy.
And they're going to stay indoors, exactly.
And taxpayers didn't have to pay for any of it.
That's right.
How is this a crime in Victoria?
It is, because we're not wasting taxpayers' money. So come on, we've got to figure out a way to waste more taxpayers' money. Hilarious.